Will influencer gifting send your products straight into the bin, or will you have eye-watering success just like Stanley, who went from another outdoor goods company to a household name? You were told that gifting was the cheapest way to catapult your products into the metaverse. Well, this could be a lie if you do it wrong. But as an influencer manager, you are busy, often wearing many hats, all at the same time. Here's what my hats say. Oops. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be this way? The problem? Your processes are too manual. Endless scrolling on social media, requesting analytics, updating spreadsheets, disorganized emails. The lists go on and on and on. The solution is that you don't need two of you. You just need to automate your process. Hey, I'm Simone, your ex-influencer but current influencer marketing expert, and over the last decade, I have done every kind of influencer partnership you can imagine. Gifting is not how it used to be, so how can you make it actually support growth in 2025? Let's start with creating a fake business, a candle business called Senfluence. For Senfluence, influencer gifting looks like the perfect opportunity. They can expand their brand reach, get UGC assets, gain reviews, build relationships with influencers, and drive sales despite being new to it all. But they should be careful. With gifting, there is no guarantee exposure, a lack of control over content, and you might send products to influencers who don't align with your ideal customer profile. And if Senfluence's candles aren't ready to face the fire of public opinion, their candles could quite literally burn the house down. And as an ex-influencer, let me tell you one thing. The influencer gifting space is saturated. You see this box? I have 3 more of these. Oh, I mean, how it's heavy. But there is a good to gifting. All we need to do is to mitigate the risks and for you to know your Now let's start with 2 gifting options that you might want to consider. For Senfluence, we might want to consider a barter deal if we want guaranteed content from our influencer in a specified time frame. However, if we have no expectations with no time frame and want to focus on relationship building and authentic content, we would go for a no strings attached deal. It is important to be mindful that without mandatory deliverables, more people are going to accept your gift. Whereas mandatory deliverables, fewer people will accept the offer, but almost all will post. Now, deciding which approach to take against the kind of influencer that you're choosing matters. This is because the size of the creators you can gift to depends on your existing brand reputation, your location, the value of your offer, and how much of a damn good salesperson you are. So before you go ahead and reach out to Kylie Jenner, keep in mind that creators with lots of followers do this for a living, and they have the luxury of being picky. So if Senfluence offers a free candle in exchange for a dedicated YouTube video, their offer simply wouldn't hit a home run. It would be a dud. However, a creator with a smaller following may be willing to collaborate with you if they're still building their content, brands, and reputation. My advice is to pick a follower range and commit to testing it thoroughly before switching. Since Senfluence is a new brand, we are going to focus on a following of under 75,000. So how much is this going to cost? Gifting is relatively low cost and low risk, since it mostly only involves your time and the cost of the products you send. However, there are examples where costs just might rack up. For instance, if you run an affiliate scheme or offer a discount code alongside your campaign, or if your campaign requires a lot of labor time, this is especially the case if your process is manual, or if you decide that you want to use a creator's content for advertising purposes. For example, you need content to run ads on Instagram or Facebook, and if you personalize or make the gifting experience that little bit more special. Remember that box from earlier? The gifting opportunities that really stood out to me were the ones that went the extra mile. See this towel here? One brand customized my dog on the front of it. So you need to stand out. So with Senfluence, we might decide to personalize the influencer's name onto the candle. Now, the first thing that we want to do before building our influencer gifting campaign for Senfluence is to define our campaign goals and criteria. We may want to consider the 4 following goals: to build brand awareness, generate direct sales, start new influencer relationships, or to collect content for paid ads, social media, newsletters, etc. Brand awareness is often the most common goal for gifting, so we'll go with that. When it comes to budgeting, we're going to ask ourselves this. How much will our product and shipping cost be? And how many influencers is it realistic to gift to? For instance, how much is our initial spend going to be? And can our team manage the number of influencers that we plan to gift to? Next, we need to nail the specifics of the kind of influencer we want to collaborate with. There are two types of influencers that we could consider for Semfluence: warm or cold creators. Let's start with the warm creators. So warm creators are influencers that are already interested in working with your brand. Perhaps we have a cohort of influencers who are already vocal about Semfluence on their own social media channels. But how do you find these creators? We could go onto Semfluence's social media accounts and manually vet out who's engaged with us, but that can take forever. So how can we automate this process? In a tool like Modash, you can head to the discovery tool to find your fans by using your account username or by uploading lists of your customer base or newsletter subscribers. Once submitted, you will have a list of influencers with over 1,000 followers, and you can click into their profiles to check out all the juicy stuff like demographics, engagement rates, and even fake followers. No one likes a fake. Now, cold creators means that we are going to have to go out into the field and search for our influencers who might be a good fit for Semfluence. Long gone are those days where you had to manually find influencers and upload them to a spreadsheet. You can use a tool like Modash to do all the work for you. Simply fill out all of your requirements, for example, location, followers, gender, age, interest. The list goes on. You can be so specific with it. Here's another scenario to consider. Let's say we want to find creators who look just the same as Victoria Beckham but who have a smaller following. You can do this by creating a lookalike audience against your criteria. And as a bonus, you can also filter their audience to ensure that you are always reaching the right customers. Once you have found your creators, you can then add them to a list and then set a campaign tracking all hashtags, mentions, or keywords for content you would like to track. Next up on the agenda, let's talk outreach. If your outreach is poor, this is when the cards can come crumbling down even before you get started. Your outreach strategy should focus on 3 things. Personalize your message as much as possible, get creators curious about your brand offer, and follow up at regular intervals. It is so damn tempting to mass outreach, but it's so ineffective. Trust me, an influencer is easily able to suss this out, and your email will go straight into the bin. Craft your emails with love and check your spelling. So with Semfluence, we're going to do this. Once we have connected our email account into Modash, we're going to unlock the creator's email address and start a conversation with them. We can apply the relevant template for our gifting campaign, but here's where we need to do some personalization. The first part of the email is where you want to customize. So with this creator, I could mention something like enjoying her recent reel showing her recent living room transformation. After that, you can then follow up with a templated intro and then a call to action. In the same space, I'm also going to attach a document sharing the product details, and then I'm going to update the relation status to outreach. Once sent, I can keep track of all conversations and always know where I am in the campaign process. Now, talking from experience, there is one thing that you can do to significantly help with your gifting conversion rates, and that's to ensure that your call to action has a fantastic product offering. For example, let's say we wanted to gift our very vanilla candle, but the influencer that we're outreaching to hates the smell of vanilla. We're in a bit of a pickle here. The solution is to curate a selection of products where the influencer can choose the scent that they will like. And you can easily do this in Modash if you have a Shopify integration by creating a product offer, setting a budget, and selecting which collections or products you specifically would like the influencer to choose from. Now, to entice our influencer that little bit more, you can also create a custom discount code for their followers to enjoy. Once you're happy with everything, you can then send a custom link to your influencer that they can order off from. And trust me, this makes the whole process much easier as an influencer. You never have to send your address, your preferred scent, or size ever again. So when you hit send, what happens next? Don't be offended if an influencer accepts your gift and then disappears into oblivion. It happens. After your outreach and follow-ups, identify patterns. Which influencers responded best? A few other tips is to refine your selection process, tweak your emails, and check if they've posted gifted products before. If there's potential for a future paid partnership, make that clear. They're more likely to prioritize you. If you're negotiating a barter deal, you may want to negotiate the terms of the collaboration. For example, agree on a deadline and content type and decide if a contract is actually needed. So for Semfluence, we may want to consider putting the contract in place if we particularly want an Instagram reel so that we can use for advertising purposes on Facebook and Instagram, let's say. However, if we have no expectations whatsoever, typically for no strings attached deals, you won't need a contract. Now, there is one thing I always found super helpful when I was an influencer, and that was receiving a product info sheet or a mood board. For Semfluence, I'd put together a mood board with clear examples to help high achieving quality results. I'd also include key details like social media handles and campaign hashtags to make tracking a breeze. Now, this leads on nicely to tracking your gifting campaign. Everything I have mentioned so far requires a lot of plate spinning, so tracking the process of your gifting campaign manually is gonna eat up a lot of your time. In Modash, you can see an entire overview of your campaign, even the good stuff like how many sales you've made that day, to tagged content that you can easily download. But what happens if we miss Kylie Jenner talking about our candles because she failed to tag us or use the hashtags that we were tracking? Don't worry, because event mode is here to save you. Event mode captures all content and influence posts within a specified time frame, so you'll be able to see everything, download them, and never ever miss a thing. Congratulations everyone, you are now ready to get started with your influencer campaign. Make sure you leave yourself plenty of time to execute. Roughly around 8 weeks is recommended. And there we go, we are ready to send Semfluence to the moon. If you want to learn more about influencer marketing, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and comment on your worst and best influencer gifting experiences. I want to know. Bye.